Hello students, good morning. So I shall be discussing with you the topic which we started last time. I shall be continuing with the same topic, the other aspects of the same topic, that is micropropagation 2. We have discussed micropropagation 1, where we have discussed some fundamental aspects of micropropagation, the various routes of micropropagation, and then we discussed some of the stages of micropropagation. In this lecture, I shall be discussing with you further this aspect of micropropagation. So I shall be starting with stage 2. What is this stage 2? It is multiplication of shoots of embryo. I discussed with you culture establishment, and in this I will discuss with you the multiplication of shoots and embryos. As the embryos are concerned, I shall also be taking with you a very special lecture on somatic embryogenesis and its induction and other aspects of somatic embryogenesis. So here I shall be discussing only some of the application part. Shoots or embryos can be multiplied by repeated subculture to get the desired number of propagules. That is important, that we need to subculture this cycle to get the number of propagule. This will determine how many propagule we are intending to produce. So based on that, we have to just repeat these cycles so as to get the desired numbers. I just give you one example. Suppose we get only we culture one shoot and we get out of that 10, and we require 1000 shoots. So what we do, we have one shoot, we culture that, we get 10, and then we again culture the 10, we get 100, and we again culture the 100, we get 1000. So like that we can multiply, and say that's the advantage of this micropropagation also. This way we can also plan the production, that how many plants we want to produce. That I will discuss with you during this course of presentation. So, and similar way, embryos can also be proliferated to get the desired number of embryos. For the multiplication and embryo proliferation, the condition and media conditions are optimized, and our conditions are different. In general, for shoot multiplication, we incorporate the media or fortify the media with cytokinin. We put cytokinin into the media. And in some of the species, it may we can get the shoot proliferation on plant growth regulator free medium also, like in case of potato. Here I would like to draw your attention about this clump of shoots. This is a clump of shoots. So this clump of shoots is that of eucalyptus, and you will appreciate that more than 1000 or few thousand shoots are there in this clump. So if we want to produce, say, out of, say, let us say 1000 shoot, we want to produce 2 lakh shoots out of it. So what we do, we divide this clump into 10 and subculture it, and after subculture we will have 10 clumps. If it's 1000, we will have 10,000, and in next subculture we will have 1 lakh shoot. So like that the shoot will multiply. Here this is achieved on a medium containing 5 micromolar BAP, that is a cytokinin. Now nodal cuttings of microshoots or small shoot clumps can be subcultured. We can culture the nodal cuttings of microshoot. I'll show you in the next slide. Or small shoot clumps. These are called shoot clumps. Small shoot clumps we need to culture. The nodal cuttings remove the inhibitory effect of shoot apex on the lateral bud growth. What is we call it as a apical dominance. So what is a apical dominance and why it is there? I would like to explain it to you. Apical dominance is a phenomena whereby when apical shoot is growing, it inhibits the growth of the lateral shoot. How does it do? That is the thing. This thing happens because apical shoot is known to be a site, growing shoot is known to be a site of auxin biosynthesis. Okay, the auxins from the shoot tip are transported by active transport to the growing root tips. Right. In turn, the growing root tips synthesize the cytokinin and supply it to a place from where they are receiving the auxins. So it is a kind of cooperative mechanism whereby the requirement of one and other are fulfilled. Now the question is, if a shoot is growing, it has at every leaf axis a bud. We call them as a lateral bud. So long as the leader bud, the main bud is growing, it does not allow the lateral buds to grow, because these buds are not getting cytokinin and other nutrients. And this phenomena is called apical dominance. If we cut the apical shoot, then there is no place to export the cytokinin from the root, and cytokinin are received and nutrition is received, other nutrition is received by the buds, and all the buds, these will start growing like a normal bud. So that is what the desired concentration of cytokine is added to the medium to increase the shoot multiplication, which I've discussed with you. May also induce shoot buds. Cytokinin may also result in the formation of new shoot buds. Till now we were discussing the induction of the old shoot buds. The new shoot. Suppose we have a leaf, we can get new shoot buds from the leaves. So this is called induction. May induce. GA may be added medium to promote the elongation, especially in species that form the rosette. Now I attract your attention here. Here we have, say, we discussed with 1000 shoot. Okay, but can these shoots be rooted? No, these shoots cannot be rooted. We cannot root these shoots. This will not root. If we want to root these shoots, we need to elongate these shoots. At least 1.5 centimeter or 1 inch long the shoot should be, that we can put it for the micro shoot can be attempted to root. Now, if we have to elongate them and at a high cytokinin they are growing like this, then how we elongate? There are three strategies rather. The first strategy is that we divide it into a clump of 4 to 5 shoots. In that case, this clump we may need to divide maybe in 200 clumps, small clumps, 4 to 5 shoots. Second, we reduce the cytokinin concentration. When we reduce the cytokinin concentration, shoots will start elongating. Now, one thing must be taken into consideration. Cytokinin are absolutely essential for shoot growth. Okay, so we have to provide some cytokinin, but we can reduce them. Generally, I am just giving you the example. If this is growing on 5 micromolar shoot, and elongation we get it on medium containing 0.01 micromolar, very, very low concentration. And sometimes we may also need to add gibberellic acid or gibberellins in order to get the elongated shoot. So what we need to do will be determined by the type of plant or the plant we are handling. But we need to standardize all this. So in that case, this stage 2 will have 2 sub stages. One is shoot multiplication and other is shoot elongation in this case, in such cases. Whereas in other cases like this, we don't need to elongate these shoots. These are already elongated shoots. Multiplication and elongation is simultaneously. And in these cases, we don't require the shoot elongation phase, and this is only a one phase. These are the shoots of T. Camellia sinensis, Aloconch. This is Camellia sinensis. This is Rosa damascena, a variety of rose which is used for the production of very highly prized rose oil The cost of this rose oil may be 10 lakh rupee per liter, 10 lakh rupee a liter. It's a very expensive oil. And then this is a bamboo. It's a high, very big, gigantic bamboo. The culture shoots of micro shoots of gigantic bamboo. So the shoots can be multiplied there. Here you may have maybe 5, 6 or 7 shoots. Here you may have 10 or 15 shoots, and here you may have 20, 25 shoots. So like that, number of shoots produced per vessel will also be governed by the type of plant we are culturing. We call this as MR, multiplication rate. So the multiplication rate of a species will be determined by the media optimized and also by the genotype of the species. So some species have very high multiplication rate, as I showed you in case of eucalyptus, and other species may not have that high, maybe very low. So here the MR may be 1:7, here maybe 1:20, here maybe 1:30, and in case of eucalyptus it may be 1:200. So like that the things go on. These are the somatic embryogenesis. This is somatic. This is how the somatic embryos they look like. These are the embryos of again that rose, Rosa damascenus. We also call it as scented rose. These are the embryos of tea, Camellia sinensis aloe Punch. These both have been produced from the zygotic embryos, the culture of the zygotic embryos. And this is the embryos of bamboo, which has been produced from the callus culture induced from the nodal cuttings or leaves or something like that. So like that, taking all this into consideration, I would like to suggest here to you people is that this particular embryos can also be multiplied in order to get the large number of embryos. Say here also you may have 10 embryo, here maybe you have a 50 embryo, and here the embryos may be again few thousand. These all dot-like structures are embryos. These all dot-like structures. This callus is full of embryos, and this is a indirect embryogenesis. This is direct embryogenesis, and this is also indirect embryogenesis. I hope you people know what does it mean direct or indirect embryogenesis. What does this conveys to you? Now coming to stage 3, what is rooting, and stage 4, what is acclimatization. So rooting, stage 3 and 4, rooting and transfer to the greenhouse, rooting and acclimatization. So microshoots needs to be rooted, and somatic embryo needs to be germinated. In order to get the complete plant, we may need to root the microshoots, or we may need to germinate the embryos. Then only we have a complete plant. I have discussed you in my previous presentation these things in detail. Rooting of microshoots can be two way. One, we can root the microshoot in the culture. Okay. And second is we can take the shoots from the culture, transfer these into the soil, and we can acclimatize and root them simultaneously. The former is called in vitro rooting and latter is called ex vitro rooting. So we can have in vitro rooting as well as ex vitro rooting. While acclimatizing in the soil, simultaneously the rooting takes place. Again, I would like to suggest here that I will take with you a special lecture on rooting of microshoot. The produced plants are progressively acclimatized in the soil to maintain the to be maintained the humidity, and slowly exposing to sunlight and shift from heterotrophic to autotrophic mode of nutrition is a mark of acclimatization. Medium should be removed before transfer to the soil. So before I discuss all these things with you, first I would like to tell you the rooting is induced by the treatment with auxin. we may need to reduce the cytokinin concentration and increase the cytooxygen concentration for rooting and other factors on the effect of these plant growth regulators on rooting. I will discuss with you on a presentation which is specifically focused on in vitro rooting of microshoots. You can see here, these are the microshoots of, I suppose it's apple, microshoots of apple, which were rooted on media containing different concentration of oxygen. This is a maybe lower concentration, and this is where the concentration is increasing. So how the increasing concentration of this has effect on the quality of rooting. Now the plants rooted in the bottle, when we root a plant in the bottle, they are growing in the bottle. In the bottle, there are three things. One is light is not enough for photosynthesis. So photosynthesis does not take place. It has a carbohydrate in it. Plant do not require to photosynthesis also. So one issue is over. Second issue is there is 100% relative humidity. Roots need not absorb water. And 100% humidity also result in the condition where plant do not have to regulate the water. Outside you will see that if the humidity is less, you might have marked in the summer, some of the plants are showing wilting. Why is that? That is due to the water in the roots are less, and the plant do not want to lose water. Is a protective mechanism where stomata close and results and other factors takes place, and that results in the wilting. So tissue culture raised plant do not have this mechanism of control of water. That the stomata is always wide open. The guard cells are not functional, and plants also are not exposed to various microorganisms and other things. So it has a very poor or no defense mechanism. So plants in the culture, they look like plants, but they do not have anything to something to grow in the field. Neither they can photosynthesize, nor they can absorb water, nor they can regulate water, nor they can defend the microorganisms. So attaining of all this process slowly in the field is called acclimatization. So this is achieved in a different mechanism. I would like during a rooting lecture, if I can spend some time and explain to you acclimatization also. So that is the basic concept of acclimatization. Now these are the steps in acclimatization. These are the acclimatized plants of potato. These are the acclimatized plants of rootstock of apple, MM11. So these plants, potato plants, were transferred to the field, and these are, say, 30 to 40 days old plant growing in the field very nicely. Okay, now the question is how we acclimatize the plant. Plants are taken out from the bottle in the medium, growing on them in the medium. We wash the plants with warm water. First of all, we wash them with warm water. Warm water should be around 35 degrees Celsius, 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, not very hot. So when we wash with them warm water, the media, we need to remove the media. Total medium, we should clean the plant and get rid of the medium. Because if the medium is transferred along with the plants, the medium is very rich in nutrients. It will attract a lot of microorganisms which will grow and overgrow that plant also. So that's important that we should remove the medium. The plants are treated with antifungal agent. When these are treated with antifungal agent, the standard antifungal agent we use is carbendazim. It's available in the market with the name of Bovestin. It's an antifungal. Beside antifungal, it has a growth promotory activity also. So due to these reasons, this is one of the best chemical for the acclimatization of the plant, for treating the plant for acclimatization. Then plants are transferred to the pots and are maintained under high humidity and controlled temperature. So temperature is generally controlled. If it is apple rootstock, we may go up to 22 degrees Celsius. If it is potato, 25 to 26 degrees Celsius. So depending upon crop, 1 or 2 degree can be up or down, but it is around 25 degrees Celsius. So what then we do? Then we slowly, when we put the plants in the field, now in the field, what the plants will do? Plants will start growing with the new leaves. When these new leaves come, they are coming outside with normal light. So these leaves will be functional with respect to photosynthesis. They also have a functional water regulation mechanism. These leaves has plant defense system. So leaves will come. The beginning of the emergence of leaf after some time is followed by the emergence of new roots many a time. The old roots, they many a time do not support plant for the absorption of water. Now these new leaves, roots, when they start coming, they can be functional. They are functional like the normal root. Now the plant will slowly start growing. And when the plant starts growing, we slowly reduce humidity to the normal over a period of time. So the plant then started to grow by new leaves, and down there are new roots. One can uproot few plants, 1 or 2 plants, and see the emerged new root. Then these roots, these plants can be transferred to the field. This is a whole process of acclimatization. Generally, the soil we use for acclimatization should not have pathogens. Number one, pathogen nahi hona. Microbes are there. Many microbes are beneficial also. So it should be free from pathogens. It should be well drained of soil. There should not be water regulation. It should have a good water holding capacity. So these are the characteristics of the soil. Generally, we take a mixture of sandy and clay soil, and it is substantiated with some of the organic fertilizers such as vermicompost or FYF or something like that, and then or coir peat. Some organic material is added, and then we put the plant there. These soils have good texture and they provide support to growth. Micropropagation by shoot organogenesis. Now, adventitious shoot formation is a de novo development of shoots from the cell cluster, tissue, or something like that, in the absence of the pre-existing meristems. So, if we have a leaf, it does not have pre-existing meristems. It does not have shoot buds. So, if we induce shoot buds there, that is what is called shoot organogenesis. Internode does not have shoot bud. If we induce new shoot buds on the internode, that is what we call shoot organogenesis. In some species, such as St. Petunias and many other species are there, where the shoot organogenesis is that effective that one leaf can get you thousands of plant. So it's very effective way, fast way of propagating plants. In other species, it may be necessary to induce unorganized mass of cells before getting the shoots. So in the earlier case, it is direct organogenesis, whereas in another cases, there could be the shoots need to develop first, the leaves need to, explants I would say, need to develop first callus, and from the callus then we differentiate shoots, adventitious shoots, and this process is called indirect organogenesis, and similarly it can also be a embryogenesis. So that's the effect of cytokinin and auxins on shoot growth and organogenesis and callus and somatic embryogenesis. As if we have a lower concentration of auxins and higher concentration of cytokinin, you will see the shoot formation increases, shoot differentiation increases. If on the contrary, the cytokinin is low and oxygen are increased, we say roots have taken place. But when what happens when in the middle concentration, you will see callus forming, callus. And in some concentration, you will also see some embryo-like structures forming. We call them as somatic embryos. So that is the effect. And this can be also be seen through this slide, where this effect is seen as a, this is oxygen is increasing, it is promoting shoot growth and also inducing roots. This side, shoot growth is inhibited, but multiplication is increased. Shoot multiplication, you will see shoot multiplication. And this is also shoot multiplication and with some growth and like that. So that's how the combination of cytokinin and oxygen work in case of plant growth and multiplication. This is another slide where in vitro comb formation in Gladiolus has been observed. So formation of such propagules, these are the propagules. These can be planted in the field like the normal one. Normal combs, conventional combs, like them we can plant. So we neither require the process of hardening, nor we require the process of acclimatization in this case. We don't require any of these. So if we don't require any of this, it is important because these are the processes which I discussed with you after that this slide, which affect the micropropagation industry, the maximum. I will discuss with the examples. Now these can be produced, these propagules can be produced in the culture. We can produce such propagules in the culture. These propagules include combs, as in case of Gladiolus you are looking at, or it can be tubers, as in case of pure potato. We call them as microtubers. Or it can be bulbs, as in case of lilies, tulips, garlic onion. We can produce bulbs. So we can produce such propagules and we can use such propagules for propagation. They grow like the conventional part. We don't, in that case, the shoot multiplied, we can directly induce these propagules. We neither required to harden the plant, nor we required to, neither be required to root the plant, nor be required the hardening, which are very problematic steps in micropropagation. But this is possible only in species which are known to produce such propagules. It's not possible in species, suppose in sugarcane if we want, we cannot induce these. Lilies will produce bulb, Gladiolus will produce comb, potato will produce tuber, but such type of crops we can utilize for the production of such. So here what I am showing is that we can see the formation of these bulbs in the cultures of Gladiolus different varieties. A is Aldebaran, B is Her Majesty, and C is Bright Eye. These are the varieties. And then when these combs mature, generally this was induced on the medium containing very high sucrose concentration. Normal concentration is 2 to 3% sucrose in the medium. Here the concentration was 8 to 10% sucrose in the medium. Good. So when we culture this, then if we maintain the culture on the same medium for around 16 to 20 weeks, we get the bulbs like this produced. These bulbs then can be harvested, processed, segregated, and can be planted like can grow the plants like this in the field. Okay, and the successes, germination successes, sometime or many times more than the conventional one of same size, and the field performance is also better than the conventional. So This is another alternative way of micropropagation, which I did not discuss there in the slide yesterday. It's a new way, which does not require the process of acclimatization. So now I would like to discuss with you something related to how important is this two steps of rooting and acclimatization are. So I'll have a new slide share. So suppose we want to produce 1 lakh plant. One lakh plants of potato or gladulus. Okay. Now the multiplication rate or shoot multiplication rate is equal to 3. That means 1 propagate to 3 culture cycle. So how many plant we produce? So we want 1000 plant. तो hardened plant कितने चाहिए? Hardened plant. Hardened mean growing in the field. Okay, 1 lakh चाहिए हमारे. Now let us see two different pathway. One pathway where the acclimatization rate is 90%. Okay, so let's say, let's not take 90, let's say 75%. So if 75%, then what is the number of plants which are required to produce to get the 75 rooted, to get the 1 lakh plants? So it is roughly, so hardened plant कितने चाहिए? Rooted plant कितने चाहिए? Rooted plants in this case are required roughly 1,35,000. Here survival rate is 75%. Okay, and if the survival rate is 50%, we require 2 lakh plant here. Survival is 50%. Now, how many shoots are required if the rooting success is 50%? 50% rooting. We require here 4 lakh shoots. 4 lakh shoots. Now, if the rooting is say 80%, 80%, just 75%. Roughly, you require again 75% rooting. you require roughly 1,80,000 plant. Now you see the difference. If we are operating with this success of routing and acclimatization, we require to produce 4 lakh shoots. And if we are moving with this success, we just require to produce 1,80,000 shoots. Much less than double, half. And you see the resources, manpower, and all input, that is the saving. If this industry is selling a plant at 5 rupee or cost it him 5 rupee, this plant will cost this industry 3 rupee cost price. Now suppose we are working at 90%. So here you require roughly 1,11,000 plant. 1,11,000 plant only you require. 1,11,000 into 90%. Yeah, 11,000. And if here also 90% survival, here also 90% survival. So in that case, 1,20,000, 2,000. 1,22,000. So now you see, and this industry may, this plant may cost to this industry somewhere 2.25 rupees per plant, somewhere approximate. Now my question is, say this is industry A, this is industry B, this is industry C. Suppose B is selling the plant at 5 rupee, and then it will have a profit, putting all those other things together, roughly 30%. A will have loss in that case, because the actual cost will be, putting all things will be more, and B will have a profit roughly 5 to 10%. See, by just selling at 5 rupee plant. So that is the advantage of this step of routing and acclimatization. These are very, very important steps with respect to the micro propagation. Okay. So students, I just conclude with this. I just conclude with this the presentation on this topic. I thank you very much. And if you have some queries or questions, please ask me. You can ask your doubts. Hello? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I give you one assignment. Please note it down. And next lecture, I will see that assignment on the video first, and then I'll start the lecture. Please note it down. Suppose you have a, should I write on the whiteboard? Hello? So I write it on the whiteboard and then I end the meeting.
Okay, sir.
Suppose you have a plant. Suppose you have a plant. Plant A. Plant A, you have to give 1 lakh plant on September 1. Okay? And you have in on say 1st February 1, you have 5 plants in hand, culture mein, in culture. Your multiplication rate is multi-rate 3. I just keep it easy. And subculture cycle is 21 day. Your rooting percentage say in one industry A, it is 60%, B it is 75%, and C it is 85%. And acclimatization A में 75%, B में 68%, and C में 90%. You have to give the complete list of plant at multiplication, number of plantlets at multiplication rate, multiplication stage, rooting stage, and final. Okay, so is that clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So please note it down, or you can take a just snap of it and work it out. I will discuss and get the results from you in my next lecture before starting. So thank you very much, and I end the meeting now. Should I end the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.